We now have word from Elon Musk himself that Tesla has finalized the design for their Cybertruck, and production is coming within the next year at Giga Texas. We might actually be nearing the end of the Cybertruck saga, easily the most anticipated, discussed, argued over, and speculated vehicle release that has ever been or probably will ever be. It's impossible to imagine any other car from any other brand drawing this much hype. Elon made the ugliest, most brutal-looking vehicle possible, and the people love it, or they hate it. And it's that polarization that seems to have kept this vehicle so relevant nearly 3 years after its first unveiling and before a single production unit has ever hit the road. Everybody has an opinion on the Cybertruck, no matter who they are. And luckily for us here on YouTube, there is still going to be plenty to talk about for a good long time. Because while Elon did say that the design has been finalized, he didn't exactly say what that would entail. And we still have so many unanswered questions. So in today's video, we are piecing together everything that we think we know about the Tesla Cybertruck and trying to shed some light on a few things that we don't. Let's get into it. In a recent interview with members of Tesla owners Silicon Valley and the Kilowatts, Elon Musk stated that the final design of the Cybertruck is, quote, for sure locked. Then Elon kind of trailed off a bit, looking both contemplative and a little bit sorrowful as he says, we kind of got too carried away with, the guys in the room ask, features, and Elon just kind of nods. I think that once they knew for sure that the truck would be delayed at least another year, if not more, the Tesla engineers took the opportunity to make some adjustments and improvements to the original blueprint. Obviously taking some inspiration from emerging trends in the electric pickup market, like moving from 3 motors to 4 and adding in rear wheel steering capability. Just these 2 modifications alone would have required an entire rewrite of the electronics and subframe architecture. After that, Elon laments that even if they did have a finalized Cybertruck ready to go last year, they couldn't have actually built it anyway due to the semiconductor shortage. Elon said, the chip shortage was so bad that even if we had, it wouldn't have mattered. You're just robbing one pocket to pay the other pocket. Elon continued to say that Tesla even had to stop making stationary storage products and starve their Powerwall line just to make cars. And even then, they weren't able to make all of the cars that they wanted to make because there just weren't enough chips available. And this echoes back to something that Elon said during the Cyber Rodeo in April. He talked about how the complications of introducing a new vehicle would actually cause the overall amount of vehicles produced to drop. So by making Cybertrucks, it would have reduced their ability to make Model Y and Model 3 vehicles. And we know that the supply and demand equation for these cars is already way off balance. Tesla can't make anywhere near enough Model Ys right now. The waiting list is almost a year long, if not more, so if production volume was to actually go down, that would be a disaster. Next, Elon says that Tesla went straight from being chip constrained into a Shanghai factory shutdown. According to Elon, this not only affected Shanghai vehicle production, but also constrained production in California because they couldn't access Chinese-made parts. Elon said, quote, I'm not sure everyone realizes how serious the shutdowns were in China, and it's not done yet, by the way. There's no major green light yet. It's still bumpy. Next up, an interviewer asks Elon if he would guesstimate when the Cybertruck will hit production, and Elon very quickly, without hesitation, says, I think middle of next year, roughly 12 months-ish. And then lastly, Elon says that he will be daily driving a Cybertruck once it comes out, which is going to be a significant bump up from his usual Model S. Also wanted to give a quick shout out to our amazing Discord community. Here is our question of the week, and this was our favorite answer. And here is the meme of the week winner. Join our Discord community to participate next week through the link in the description below. So our next big question would be, if the Cybertruck design is finished, have we actually seen the finished design yet? We've seen a few prototypes, some newer than others, but none of them actually look like a finished product. Actually, the most complete looking prototype is still the very first one, which Tesla is still bringing out from time to time. It was just on display at the Computer Vision and Pattern Recognition Conference in New Orleans, so we know that Tesla hasn't mothballed it yet. We also saw the latest updated prototype of the Cybertruck at the Michigan International Speedway in mid-June. The most notable change on the updated prototype at its last sighting was the lack of a windshield wiper. Never in my life did I expect that I would be spending so much of my time talking about windshield wipers, but here we are. Anyway, the Cybertruck has famously gone from no windshield wiper to a comically oversized windshield wiper to a comically undersized windshield wiper, and now we are full circle back to no windshield wiper. Someone please make it stop. But here's the scoop. So initially we had thought that Elon Musk would come through with some kind of laser-based window cleaning system, which sounds amazing, but then we got to thinking that it probably wouldn't be legal or reliable or even safe for the person sitting behind the windshield to have lasers blasting right in the direction of their eyeballs. Then we thought maybe there would be some kind of electromagnetic system with super low profile blades, and then we saw that Tesla had just rigged up a giant monolithic wiper arm that looked ridiculous and prompted Elon Musk to address it on Twitter, writing, "The wiper is what troubles me most. No easy solution. Deployable wiper that stows in front of trunk would be ideal, but complex," which begs the question, did the deployable wiper make it into that final design? The only other iteration that we've seen is this single short wiper that somehow manages to look even more ridiculous than the long wiper. It wouldn't even reach the glass in front of the driver's face unless it's kind of extendable or deployable thing that folds out like a pocket knife or something. I don't know. But that's enough with the wipers. We've also been getting some glimpses of an updated Cybertruck interior from these prototypes, and this actually is one of the biggest departures from the original design. At first, the Cybertruck interior looked like it would have a plain Model 3 style dashboard that was made out of marble. It was like having a kitchen countertop in your car. Then Tesla said it was actually recycled paper that was composited together to look like marble. And that was actually pretty cool, but what we're getting right now in the current prototype is basically just a Model S interior with sharper angles. So we can see that there is now an instrument cluster in front of the driver that was not present on the original build, but it's there now and it looks the same as the Model S and X design, just more pointy around the edges. We can also see Tesla's standard steering yoke thing. It's got a big hole where the airbag should be and wires coming out of it, so I wouldn't invest too much into it. We can also see pedals that are very similar to the Model S, again, just more pointy around the edges. There is some interesting stuff going on in the middle section. On the original Cybertruck prototype, we could see a middle seat in the front row. This used to be a normal thing to see in pickup trucks. Not so much these days, but Tesla seems committed to bringing it back. In the new prototype, there is a giant, clunky center console thing that seems like it might fold up to reveal a middle seat underneath. And there is clearly some space saved for legroom in the middle. Not much, but it looks like there's a bit more room to open up there if Tesla decides they can refine that square box just sitting on the floor underneath the display screen. It's just way too janky to be real. It looks like one of those homemade subwoofer boxes that every bro dude had in the trunk of their Honda Civic after the Fast and Furious came out. Anyway, that's about all we can deduce from looking at prototypes. Hopefully that was entertaining at least. Here's what we really want to know about the Cybertruck. What is going on underneath all of the cosmetics? For example, what kind of motors will go into the quad motor design? Will they be the same carbon-wrapped high-performance motors from the Plaid system? Sandy Munro seems to think so. During his teardown of the Model S when he was examining the Plaid motor, Sandy said that he expects the Cybertruck to use this same motor because it has a significantly higher power output than the Tesla's standard electric motor found in the Model Y and Model 3. Now, how about the battery pack? Is it possible for the top-tier Cybertruck to reach over 500 miles of range like it was originally claimed? It seems unlikely. Elon has kind of lost interest in making super long-range battery packs, basically saying that no one actually needs more than 400 miles of range, so why bother making sacrifices in the vehicle design just to deliver a pointless feature? And we have yet to see the 4680 battery cell really put to the test in a long-range application. So far, we've only seen that new cell put into a small pack, probably 50 kilowatt hours in the Model Y all-wheel drive. So we don't have much of a benchmark to say what it is capable of. Then there is the electrical system. Will Tesla go to a higher voltage? On the company's Q1 earnings call, Drew Baglino said that Tesla would not move the Model 3 and Model Y to higher voltage because there would be no real advantage in doing it, at least not enough to outweigh the extra work and expense in redesigning the electronics. Though Baglino did say, quote, on bigger vehicles where you're talking about higher power on the charging side or higher power going from the battery to the power electronics, or you need more torque, the current requirements go up. There's a little bit more semiconductor and actual conductor savings of going to the higher voltage, and so we do consider that for Semi and Cybertruck. So it is possible that Tesla could move up to an 800-volt architecture like what Porsche and Audi are using right now. Lucid also created a 900-volt system for their Air sedan. The biggest advantage to the consumer in this would be a faster charging speed. According to some very smart people in the comment section who know much more about electricity than I do, you can go as high as 1500 volts while still using industry standard electronics. Anything higher would require expensive custom parts. But Tesla could go all the way up to 1500 volts DC or 1000 volts AC if they choose. So we'll see how that pans out. Of course, we know for sure that there will be no finalized Cybertruck build without that 9,000-ton Gigapress machine from IDRA. We've seen the world's largest die-casting machine on display at IDRA's headquarters in Italy this month for an open house event that just wrapped up a few days ago. So now that press will be deconstructed, trucked to a port city, loaded on a boat, floated across the ocean, trucked into Austin, Texas, reconstructed, and then, and only then, can Tesla actually even start to build a real Cybertruck. So if we can imagine that the Gigapress is up and running by the end of this year, then put in 6 months of hard work to get tooling and production systems up and running, it doesn't seem crazy to say that a very limited run of Cybertruck deliveries could start next summer. It's by far the closest we've gotten to a realistic timeline. And while Elon might be wrong most of the time, like a broken clock, he has to inevitably be right some of the time, and hopefully this is the one. But do you think we will get a real production run of the Cybertruck next year? And if so, how long is it going to take before the average pre-order holder actually gets one of their own? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up today if you liked it. That is so important for getting our content out to more people. If you enjoy the content, then you'd probably also enjoy our weekly newsletter, so sign up with the link down below at theteslaspace.com. A huge thank you to all of our Patreon supporters who are listed on the screen now. You help us make the best content we can, and we really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.